What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and hey, as always, happy Friday. We're here today for another episode of the Inner Sea region of 5-Minute Tour. Today, our rounding out of Avestan continues. We're talking about the nation of Lastwall. If you have any requests for regions that we've yet to cover, again, as we round this puppy out, throw them in the comments below, and we'll get right on them. Before we get down to business, though, real quickly, this episode of the Inner Sea region of 5-Minute Tour was brought to you in part by one of our new patrons, Mr. Michael Baker. Michael, thank you so much for your time and support. Thank you so much for all the conversation we've had. Thank you so much for letting me read some of your work. The man's a pretty good author, by the way, and if you'd like to get your hands on some of his material, ask for it in the comments. I'm sure he'd be more than happy to hook you up. Now let's dive in. So Lastwall was founded for pretty much one purpose, and that purpose still drives life in Lastwall present day. The nation was founded long ago to keep watch over the Whispering Tyrant at the end of the decades-long war known as the Shining Crusade. The Shining Crusade ended with the defeat of the Whispering Tyrant, but the victorious Crusaders couldn't utterly destroy him. Instead, they imprisoned him beneath his cursed capital of Gallowspire. Lastwall was founded after this to ensure that the Whispering Tyrant would never escape his eternal prison. If you compare Lastwall to the rest of the Inner Sea, it's a relatively young nation, having only existed for about 900 years. Since its founding, Lastwall has stayed true to its purpose, standing guard against the undead from Ustalov, as well as the orc hordes from the Hold of Belkzen. Other than the, constant fighting against evil stuff, the history of Lastwall has been relatively free of wars or external conflict. Originally, it was one of Taldor's protectorates, that tiny nation present day that used to be the largest land empire on Golarion. So dedicated are the forces of Lastwall to watching the northern border that Lastwall remained neutral during the even-tongued conquest when Cheliax broke free from Taldor, established its own nation, and Taldor was reduced to nothing, which conveniently enough was the same time that Lastwall became its own independent nation. Lastwall is ruled by a single person who is known as the Watcher Lord. The current Watcher Lord is Ulthune II. Despite his youth, Ulthune has already proven himself in battle. He's an ambitious leader who wants to secure and expand Lastwall's borders into the territory of his enemies, the Orcs of Belkzen. We've talked about the Hold of Belkzen as well. Really, we've talked about pretty much every region that's come up here. So rather than bombard you with a bunch of cards over and over, here's a card to the entire Inner Sea region of 5-Minute Tour playlist. It stretches back to the very founding of this YouTube channel. Some of the videos are a little rough, but if you'd like to get caught up, follow this card right up here. This absolute power does create the potential for tyranny in Lastwall, but it's never been a big problem. The Watcher Lord is elected by the Precentors Marshal of the War College in Lastwall, who look for purity of heart, clarity of mind, and someone who embodies the Crusader ideal. As a result, there has never been a Watcher Lord arrogant enough to try and assume tyrannical control over this nation. And right there, really, we have all of the adventure hooks we'd ever need. Want to go fight some orcs? Want to go fight some liches? Want to go fight some paladins while playing orcs or liches? Go to Lastwall. Feel like being a tyrannical leader and want to throw a young, naive, impudent upstart off his throne? Go to Lastwall. Want to find and marry the most eligible bachelor in all of Golarion? Go to Lastwall. The possibilities here are pretty much infinite. And of course, like all nations of the Inner Sea region, Lastwall does have its own real-world equivalent. From a historical sense, it might be a little more opinion-based, but from a fantastical sense, you can find references of nations of warriors watching the border for bandits or orcs or bandit orcs, holy warriors who are guarding the land against an undead apocalypse. Game of Thrones comes to mind for one, and there are several others as well. From a historical standpoint, this is as far north in this part of Avestan Taldor ever reached with its massive empire. It tried to expand into the Hold of Belkzen, but couldn't. Lastwall holds a border that's been pushed back twice. To be honest with you, Lastwall kind of feels like the southern half of the British Isles during the late days of the Roman Empire, a la Hadrian's Wall. An empire moves really far north, establishes bases everywhere it goes, pushes out all the bad stuff, but can't get past a certain amount of tenacious barbarians. They establish a border, the border is contested a bunch. Of course, throw in a lich who slumbers and waits to be awakened, not far away, but you get the idea. So how do you guys feel about Lastwall? Have you ever adventured here? Have you ever GM'd here? Or maybe you just came here for a little while to kick some zombies in the face or stab some orcs in the chest. Hey, it's all good. Don't forget, guys, our Doomsday Dawn giveaway is live right now. Our Patreon is sitting at about $97 a month. Just one more good push, and I'll have enough money on Patreon to be able to take a day off work and run you and 5 of your fellow subscribers through the Doomsday Dawn adventure for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, the first ever published piece of content for this sweet, exciting new edition that's coming out. For more information about that giveaway, follow this card right up here. But we're not done. We've also announced our next giveaway to send off Pathfinder 1st Edition in style. We're holding a tournament. I need 16 of your best, most min-maxed Drow Nobles and Centaurs and Munavri and all this other scary stuff you might pull out to compete in a tournament to, as I said, send Pathfinder 1st Edition off with a bang. Follow this card right here if you'd like to learn more about that giveaway. As always, our Patreon is in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos. The next episode of the Inner Sea region of 5 Minute Tour drops next Friday.